Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Got another video for you here on the X7 with the Syntec controller. In this video, we're going to talk about connecting to it wirelessly with a laptop or a desktop if you have one of those in your shop. If you go to the Syntec website, they've got a couple of documents. They got this one here. It talks about how to do a wired connection. But they also have this one here, which is a supplement to that you can download that is for Windows 10 only. And it has instructions in here how to wirelessly connect to it or do a wired connection. If you're going to do this, I would follow the video here and set your machine up wirelessly. I would download this and follow along. This is the template that I used. However, some of the stuff in the newer versions of Windows 10 with the updates had changed. So this plus the video should make it pretty easy for you to connect up. Now what I had previously been using is like everybody else is these jump drives, which I don't like, and that's why I wanted to go with the wireless connection. So what you'll need is you'll need a router like this, or in my case I'm using this old hotspot that has a router built into it. The reason I'm going with this is because it has very fast transfer speeds, which is what you want. The thing though with this is you need to connect the machine wired. You got to wire to the router from the machine because there's no wireless access point in it at this point anyways. So you got to have this wired to the machine, and then you can connect to the router and then the machine through the router from your laptop or your desktop. So I'll go through the steps first. We'll turn the camera around and we'll get it on the laptop and we'll go through those steps, and then we'll head to the machine and show how I wired into the controller and ended up connecting to this. So stay tuned. If this is something you like, please subscribe. The whole deal there. I got more of these videos coming out, so hopefully you guys enjoy them. And with that, we'll get this turned around and we'll get going.
Okay guys, so the first thing that we need to do here on our laptop is we need to share a current folder that we have or create a new folder to share it with the Syntec controller. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to come down here to the Start menu in the search box and type in File Explorer. See, it pops right up there on the top. So I have two hard drives on this machine. So this is my C drive, and then I do all my storage and everything on my D drive. So I'm going to pick the D drive to create the new folder on. You can pick wherever you want. You can even do it on the desktop if you'd like. But for in this case, we're going to go to the D drive. And you can see I got all these folders here. We're going to create a new folder up from the top. So we'll click on New Folder. Name this CNC. However you can name it, whatever you like. Once the folder is created, we want to come and right click on it. We're going to click on Properties, and then we're going to click on Sharing. And then the first thing here is we're just going to click on Share. So this box is asking you, hey, who do you want to share it with? So click the down arrow, and we're going to share this to everyone. Click the Add, and it'll add it down here. Now click Share. Now it created a path here, Fusion Laptop /CNC. So the name of my laptop is Fusion Laptop, and you'll need to know that later when we get over to the controller, but I'll show you another way to get this name in this path once we get to that point. So here you can click Done, and then we can right click on this again, bring up the properties, and we want to go to Advanced Sharing. Under the Advanced Sharing window, we want to click on Permissions, and we want to make sure all three of these boxes are checked. Full control, change, and read. If all three of those are checked, just click OK. OK one more time, and then click Closed. And then that's it for as far as the folder. So let me get this reset up, and I'll bring you back, and we'll show you the next step. All right, for the next step, we're going to go back to the Start menu. We're going to type in here Network and Sharing Center, right? So that popped up as we started typing it in. So we want to go here. Let's open this up, and then we want to go to Advanced sharing settings. So you can see there's a couple of them here um, that you can click on the on the drop down arrow. So so under private or the current profile, make sure they're checked just like this. Turn on network discovery, turn on automatic setup on network connected devices, and turn on file and print sharing. Under guest network, turn on network discovery, turn on file and print sharing, and then under all networks, turn on sharing anyone with the network access, can read and write. This one will automatically checked, and then make sure you turn off password protected sharing. And then as long as yours look just like this, we can look at it one more time. You can see the two here. Then under the guest network, turn on, and then all networks, turn on sharing, leave the encryption on, and then turn off password and protected sharing. If you made any changes, you'll have a Save Changes button down here that you can click. I didn't have to make any changes on mine when I originally set this up. They were all set up this way, so I'm assuming that yours probably will be. But if you don't have them set this way, it will not work. So, um, you know, save your changes or cancel out of there. You can shrink this back down and close this down, and you're done for this step. So, okay, so these first two steps were actually the easy ones. I got to get set up here, got to be connected to the router that you're going to use with the machine, um, and get that set up. And it's a little more difficult, but we'll go through it step by step, and I think we'll get it easy enough. So again, I'll bring you back when we're ready for that. All right, guys, this next part I found the most difficult because you have to type this long command line exactly right, or it errors. And if you look here, it's this command line right here, right? And I don't know, for some reason when I did it the first time I couldn't get it right for 3 or 4 tries. So that's why I went ahead and just typed it out here to double check it before running it and showing you on the video. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Start menu, and we're going to search for Windows PowerShell, right? And then you're going to right click on this, not left click, right click, and then you're going to go up and run as an administrator. Yes. So here's this, here's the command line. It's asking for something, and this is what we're going to run. So we'll just copy this from here, and we will attempt to paste that there. There we go. So you can see it in the yellow there. That means, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is the actual thing that it's going to run, right? So if we hit enter, you see it's loading this in, and you can tell by these zeros that go across, and it takes a second to run. So there we go. So you can see here, you want it to say true, false. True is really the top one. The true here is the most important one. The first time you run it, it might just go ahead and reboot your system. I've run this before, so it's saying, hey, restart is needed. No, it's not needed because I've already loaded this and it knows it's installed. But yours, when you get to this point, it might just reboot. And if it does, they're fine. You don't have to do anything else. You can go on to the next step, right? Um, so if you reboot and you're back to the just your home screen, good. For us, we're just going to close this down. Close this down. Yeah, we're going to save that actually. So if I ever have to type it again, I'll have it. All right, so now we're going to go to back to our Start menu here, and then we're going to go to Add and Remove Programs. Let's see. Well, there's probably an easy way. Let's just go to Control Panel, because I don't think they call it Add and Remove. Yeah, Program Features. This is what we want. Sorry about that. I'll make this big. And then we want to turn on or turn off Windows features up here, right? So turn Windows features on or off. So we're going to click on that. And then we got to scroll down to SMB1 file sharing support. And we want to make sure that all three of these are clicked, just like that. And then we can hit OK. And it'll load those files in. Takes a second here. All right, so we can close, and we're actually done with this step. So if you're following along, with the Windows 10 manual that you can download from the Syntec site, it has most of this set out, but it is different than what you're seeing with later versions of Windows 10. So if you're using that along with this video here, it might be much more helpful because you can see some of this stuff written out by hand, or I mean typed out on the screen. So all right, so the last thing that we're going to have to do, I'll have to get set up for. I need to be by the machine because I have to be connected to the router that is connected to the machine. So once again, I'll bring you back when I'm ready for that. All right, guys, so last step on the PC, and this is pretty simple. All we need to do is get some information from the PC now that we have to put in the controller. So we're going to come over here to the Start menu, and you can go up here to this PC, or you can type this PC down here, which we'll do. And just click on it, and then this window pops up, right? And you can right-click on where it says this PC and hit Properties. And this is the name of the Fusion, this is the name of the PC, Fusion Laptop. So you need to write that down, and whatever your name is, whatever is listed there, that's the name that you want to add to the controller. So take a picture of it, write it down, whatever it is, that's what you're going to need. So we can shut out of here. And then lastly, we'll go back to the search, and we're going to type in CMD. And we want to go to a command line, so we'll just hit enter. And you can see it here, and then we want to type in ipconfig. And if we scroll down here, you can see we have our wireless LAN adapter, which is our router. So you're going to need these numbers here, so you can write them down or take a picture of them. However, this IP address cannot be the same as the controller. So you want to write this down, and when you add it to the controller, you can just change this last number. So when I originally set this up, I just changed it to 101 when I added the controller. But we'll talk about that when we get to the controller side. But once you have this information, you're good to go. And again, if you're following along with the Syntec short manual for Windows 10, it explains some of that a little bit. Doesn't really show any pictures of it, but it explains what you have to do and why you have to change that. So it's definitely worth following along with that manual at the same time. So, okay, with that, we'll see you over to the controller.
All right, guys, so here we are in front of the controller, as you can see. So we need to set the controller up now. And how we're going to do that, you're going to go to Maintenance, and we'll go over here to Set Kernel Server. And so that brings up the screen that you need to set the parameters to be able to connect to the laptop. So you have two choices up here, but we want to choose, because we're going through a router, we want to choose Specify the IP address. If you can see, it's a Tame1 automatic, or specify an IP. So these three numbers here are the numbers we had you write down when you did the WinIPconfig, right? And you can see these are different than the ones I had on my screen when I was videoing, because I was connected to a different router than what the machine is actually connected to. So you'd write those down, but remember I said on the IP address, you're going to have to change it. So I believe on the example that I had, it was 0.100 at the end. So in this case, then you could just simply change that number to 101, and you'd be good to go. No two devices on a network can have the same address, and so technically you could really change it to anything you wanted. But usually what you do in this case is you just increment it by 1. And then whatever the subnet mask is in the default gateway, right? And then down here, you know, I showed you this, my laptop was named Fusion Laptop. Whatever yours is named, you want to put that in there. And then, of course, the directory that we shared in my video here was CNC, but I'm actually using the NC files folder on my laptop. And unless you have profiles and stuff set up on your laptop, you don't need to put in a name or a password. I could delete that Hawk F out of there and it wouldn't make a difference. But you know, if you do log in with a user, then the username and their password that's sharing the folder has to be entered in here, right? And then down here you see, you know, this is the path that the controller is sharing. So when all that's done, you just hit this Save Setting button, and it'll save them. Go back to the set kernel. You can see they're all in there, and then here you can see the network isn't reachable. It's because I have it turned off so you guys can see it. Once you reboot it, it'll come back up and it should say 0 network, you know that the network is connected. So we will exit out of here, go back to the default screen, and shut it down and then let it reboot. And I'll bring you back when that's done. All right, so we're booted back up here. So we'll check to see if our connection is live. So maintenance, set kernel server. Look down here, you can see 0, no errors, success. So that means we're successfully connected to the laptop. So let's go back here, go to File Manager. And we'll do a file transfer and test the setup. So let me go down here to my net test folder. All right, that's empty. So let's do a file transfer, file import. So from this screen, you can select your device. So right now it's the USB that I have over here, right? So we'll switch device with this button to the network. We'll hit enter, and then it loads the files from the laptop, right? So let's go down here and select, we'll just select the top one. Gonna do a window select, page down to our net test folder. So we got our one file, you know, checked, ready to transfer. It's going to our folder. It's coming from the network. Hit copy, and boom, we got the file over. So let's do a bigger file this time, so you guys can kind of see the speed. So we'll unselect that one and tab down to one of these larger files. Hit select, hit copy. And then you can see they, you know, it takes a little bit longer. So what we'll do, so what's on the thumb drive and what's on my network drive are the exact same files. So let's back out of here. Let's do another import. And it's looking at the USB. So I wanted to give you a comparison from the USB to the network on the speed. So these files all down here, if you look, you can see they're all just a copy of the same file. So they're all the same size. So we'll just pick this one. And then go over here, pick that same folder we were in. And hit copy. And you can see the USB is a little bit faster, but certainly not, you know, certainly not a game changer. So, but so that's it. You can see that if you have some trouble, you know, one thing that can happen, and I'll show you this real quick. If for some reason it doesn't, if you don't have your laptop booted up first or connected, sometimes you get an error that says that this, you know, this path isn't available. So if that does happen, which is not very often for me anyways, you can go back here to set kernel and just set server and restart it. And then it should connect right up to the laptop. So, all right, well, hopefully that's good All right, guys, here you can see we've got them. Let me back out a little bit. We got the cover off of the controller console. You can see down here, here's the control board, got the keyboard, and then this is the computer and the display up in the top here. So here's my cable, right? So like I said in the opening there, the machine has to be wired into the router or hotspot or whatever you're using, right? So here's the wire I added, and I'll show you how I did that. But that's just connected to LAN 1. And then this outside connector, if you wanted to connect to it wired, not wirelessly, you can still just plug in there. It's connected to LAN 2. And probably as most of you, or maybe not, when you get the machine, you notice this USB is not operable. So while you're in here, you can just add a USB cable. You can see here, this was a cable that I just had laying around, and I plugged it to one of the open USB ports, right? So that'll make that so that you can use it if you need it at some point, right? So this is just the harness that goes up, and you can see I just wire tied to it. So let me get the camera turned around here. We'll get up on top and we'll show the routing up there. All right, you can see we're at the top of the machine here, stretching over. So that's where the bundle of wires from the controller comes up through. You can see our LAN cables here that we added. And then this line is an oil feed line. And I was able to utilize the hole that was there. Let's see if I can get this to focus. To run the LAN cable. And then you can see we run it across and then in through that access panel for the airlines and stuff. So let's head on over there and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, here we are on the other side. So this is a little access panel, and then here's our LAN cable. And that's going to run out through here along with the power, and I'm going to mount the router right here. So that'll be the next step. All right, guys, here you can see my hotspot that I'm using as a router all mounted on the machine. Just made that bracket, cut it out on the plasma table, and then bent it up to hold the hotspot there. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, subscribe, please. That whole routine. And I've got a lot more videos planned. The next one hopefully is going through the Syntec controller on all the screens to show the functionality of those. So with that, we'll call this one a wrap. Appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one.